Greetings, fellow cruisers. This is Jeff from Enjoy Life Traveling. Today we are in Puerto Plata, and we are at Taino Bay, this port. It starts out, the first look here may seem a little bit industrial, but I absolutely loved this thing. I mean, this was incredible. I went ahead and just tipped the guy a buck and had him drive me down here rather than make the walk. It's not terrible, but still, it was available. And it's free. Again, I highly recommend tipping. Everybody do your own thing. But you get in here, and again, my first thoughts were that, okay, it's got a few things. It's kind of pretty there with the water fountain. But man, as soon as you get past the doors here, it's like, oh, wait a minute. This is an oasis. This is one of the best port stops I think that I have found. I was here basically back to back about a month ago from when I'm first posting it. So, and I was thoroughly impressed. I was trying to find out more about this port because it was my first time here. Well, first and second. And then I knew I'm going back fairly soon. And so I was wondering, like, what is the place? Is there anything good to do? And the answer is a resounding yes. The port itself is very clean. It feels nice. I haven't had anybody at all pressure me for any kind of sales to make. So I would tell you that that's not something that's going to need to be on your radar to worry about, or how you try to walk to the other side if you see someone trying to solicit. I really didn't have anything more than seeing some people really holding up some T-shirts and such that they'd gotten at the shops. Now, just to your right, other than the parking area, there is a bathroom. So that's right there, and it was clean. I appreciate that, and really, that was true throughout. Everything felt very clean, felt very new. Everything, like I said, nothing was outdated. And like I said, I just decided to go ahead and take a peek so you can see it. So that's the restrooms right there. And there's men's and there's the ladies. And then as you come out here, this is like a parking lot. So this mall area is accessible to anybody. It's not like just a cruise port mall. You can go right on in if you just want to drive there. So it's got that. If you were just staying and not doing a cruise and you wanted to check it out, it's got that. I thought it was pretty cool because it didn't cost anything. And that's what I really liked about it. This place really has, as far as I'm concerned, a lot to offer. It does not, unfortunately, have an immediate beach right there, nor is there access to the ocean, at least not that I saw. But as far as the view, I mean, you could go out there and be able to be on that a beach that had the seawall kind of a thing there, and still be able to look out and have the pretty views. And then, of course, as I'll show you here, the pool that's available, and they have a lazy river, and it's free. I mean, who does that? That is rare to see a lazy river for free. I've seen the pool in a couple places, and Costa is arguably my favorite for that. But this is a pretty sweet setup. I mean, as you can really just see, it's beautiful. Everything's very well done. There is, again, plenty of free things, but then if you're looking for shopping, it's got it. If you're looking for some restaurants, it's got it. You're not necessarily getting the authentic feel of, being in Puerto Plata, because obviously this is all set up for the cruise ships. I mean, everything was very well manicured, and like I said, the shops were all very new looking. Nothing looked outdated or old at all. And I did spend some time in here doing just a little bit of shopping. As you may know, if you watch the channel, I always try to get a shot glass and usually a magnet, and I did that. Prices seemed fairly reasonable. As far as the food and such goes, again, obviously I didn't go to every single place that was here, but it really had a very nice feel to it. It was just, like I said, it was one of those sports I did a little bit of research on beforehand. And so I had some high expectations, but they were not dashed. I thought it was brilliantly set up. Again, just everything just felt so new, so well done, so well prepared. And I was just kind of in awe of the job that they had done at this port, because you don't, like I said, you don't need to spend any money here. I mean, you can get off the ship and have, a water bottle and just go there and enjoy a lazy river or enjoy the pool, and you're good. But if you also want to spend a little bit of money, it wasn't hideously expensive, and it was good. It was good. We ate there. We had some drinks, my wife and I, and it was very, very well done, very tastefully done, and it seemed like the vendors kind of helped each other. There was free Wi-Fi here, but their Wi-Fi is a little weird because the vendor has to give you a code to be able to access this on your phone. So each time you want to use that, you need to get a code, and then you'll be able to use the Wi-Fi. Worked fine. It was a little bit weird having to get that code, but again, the vendors worked together. It wasn't like you were trying to be, dragged or someone stealing business from you. It was just very cordial, and you could tell that it seemed like the vendors there, at least the nearby ones, seemed to kind of know each other and work respectfully with each other. So something to think about there. Also, there is some birds that are right in here that, again, they're free to watch, other people interact with, but there's also an aspect to where you can go in and pay to, hold the birds and such like that. So again, this is one of those extra things that, much like Costa Maya that has an aviary, this doesn't have an aviary, but again, it's got this area to where the birds are, and it just added to the fun that kind of comes with this kind of a place. There was lots of seating. There was, again, I was there twice in fairly short time, like a week apart, but there was always seating, and this was hot. So if you're seeing this and looking at it and thinking, oh, well, there's really not a lot of people. This was kind of midday here. I'm not catching this at a time to when, nobody's awake or everybody's back on the ship. I'm kind of doing this at the peak of the day. So again, when you're seeing what I'm seeing, I absolutely loved this port. This might be my favorite. I really like Costa Maya and what that has become. So I would have a hard time, except for the lazy river thing. I really liked having that extra thing here. And they are working, of course, on Costa Maya and with Royal Caribbean buying most of that cruise port there. And yes, they're going to be letting some of the other cruise lines use it, but they're adding to it. And I don't know everything that's coming. But this one here, I don't know. It may have the edge on it. It has a very new feel, very well manicured, versus the other one, which is, it's great, but it just doesn't have like all the shrubbery and such, all the nature that this one does just right around you. And again, that was a bigger deal to me. One of the concerns that you may have watching this here is that you may have heard some of the issues with, Haiti / the Dominican Republic and some of the things that's went on there. From a safety standpoint, I know that Royal Caribbean had shut down the Haiti area for a while just to be on the safe side. And I never, ever, ever felt awkward here. I never felt unsafe. I would, have no problems taking, my kids here, my grandkids here, and not being worrying about their safety in port. Now, I haven't been out of the port, so I don't want to speak on something that I can't give you some honest feedback about. I don't even have anybody that I know that has that. I'm peeking over here because of the lazy river. The lazy river here is really very well done. And I say that because you're not just the lazy river, but it's got some areas where it splits off a couple times, so you have two different directions to go. But it is very scenic. You're just not going around like a pool area. You're going around a nature area, and there's areas to where you've got like there where it's just a bridge kind of going from one spot to the next, but you've got other areas that are built up with sticks and such like that just give it a very fun-filled. It was awesome. Let me just put. I don't even know where to go with it. It was awesome. I loved it. The only thing I really didn't see was I didn't notice many people drinking in there. I didn't see any signs that said you couldn't, but yeah, I didn't really notice anybody with cocktails. But again, like I said, I was looking and there wasn't a sign that said you couldn't. I wasn't trying it myself at the time, so I couldn't tell you how that works out. Now, as far as some of the beds here, there was nothing that I could see to where you were renting the bed. Now, that's not saying that you don't have to. I feel like you probably do, but I've been to a few places to where that's not the case, where those are just included, and that's awesome to be able to just go in and grab those. But there wasn't like a person there, and I didn't necessarily see a sign, so they may be absolutely, open season to just go in there and grab. Again, I was here midday, and I was here when I was recording this. That was really all I was there to do, was to record this. And so I did that. And then when I was here, the next week with my wife, I was with the mindset of that I'm just spending that alone time with my wife and showing her what I had seen and enjoying the lazy river. And that's where I got a chance to let you know about the food and the drinks, because when I was here, when I was shooting this, it was all business. I was there to take care of what I do here on YouTube and get back to the ship. And you processed all the different stuff, other videos that are coming out. So when I'm doing these cruises, they're sort of working vacations, so to speak. And I have to spend some time doing that. So when I'm with my wife, I hope to not have to do a whole lot unless maybe I missed something. And that's the way I approached it here. And I think it worked out very well, because I was super excited to take her back here. And then I'm going to be back here on Virgin Voyages here real soon. And this is one of their stops. And again, I'm telling the people in those chats to just stay in port, because I really like it. And I'm kind of torn here because I really just want to relax. But I also, from a YouTube standpoint, wonder if I want to go find another spot to try out so I can give some other information on and keep that work focus on there. But I've got so much content that I have gotten here that I don't necessarily need it. I'm not short on content. There's so much I want to show you because I've just learned so much in all the cruises that I've done. So I'll have to make some decisions on that. But I would love to just stay in port here, maybe get a drink cup and just enjoy floating around the lazy river here. They had some people that worked that, so they would help you get in and out of the inflatable, and that was really nice. I mean, it worked out very good. And then when you were trying to come in, they would also help you, get back and get up. And again, there was no charge to it. That I wanted to find out because, sometimes if you see someone working there, you just assume there's a charge. And I was quite pleased to find out that there wasn't a charge to it. Obviously, they would love tips, and that was out there. But other than that, no, you didn't need to do any of that. If you're into shopping, they've got your stuff. Again, nothing that I was looking at seemed overbearingly high. Obviously, I did not shop everywhere. But the food, we went to this Taco Lover right there. That's where we sat in that spot. And this guy over here was making the drinks. And they worked in tandem again to make sure that we had internet, because we had a couple of different phones with us that we were making to do all of our Facebooking and uploading and that kind of stuff. So it worked out great. So again, going back to the chairs and such. Now, if you are looking for the chairs that are in a certain location, that is a little different thing. But as far as looking for a place to sit, just for a place to sit, there was plenty. There's some chairs that are up here just to your right. I just kind of made it to where you couldn't see them, but they were out in the sun and they were just sitting there. There was, they're right there. And so we just used that and put our stuff down, put a lock around it, which, as you've seen, I have that little safe, put the things in there, and then we just went on the lazy river and didn't worry about our stuff. Now, the hammocks and the beds and the chairs that are under a tree, or the chairs that give you the sunlight because you're wanting to tan, that's going to be a little bit more of a challenge to get those. You're going to want to plan ahead, get off the ship and get your spot, because there's a lot of different seating. You're not going to, if you have mobility issues, it isn't like there isn't any place to go. But as far as if you want a specific spot, you're going to have to be proactive and make sure that you are off the ship early enough to be able to get the best spot that you're after. The pool itself was clean. They did a good job, a good temperature to it. I guess the one thing that sticks out was that you kind of have to watch where you're walking because the stairs, like in that back bar area, there's two different pools, but the stairs that are near the lazy river, doesn't lead into it, but the stairs that in that pool that's right there between the lazy river towards the back, there's some steep drops, and so if you don't know where the stairs are, which is right in front of the bar, where you can sit in the pool at, that's where the stairs are. You get gradual, but otherwise you just kind of step off into a spot to where, I guess if you weren't paying too much attention, you could get hurt. I mean, chances are the water's going to catch you, but you know what I'm talking about. Now, the pool itself, I guess because of those ledges, there were some places to sit. If I could just go back and say, hey guys, you need to add this, I'd probably have them put a little bit more seating next to the wall, because a lot of times you're just sort of in the middle, and if you're wanting to sit, you were at that steeper drop. And I just thought there was some opportunities there, and when I brought it up to my wife, she agreed that that's something they probably could have done, and maybe done just a little bit better with. But again, you're not going to be disappointed in the pool. The bar is a little bit tricky not to get to, but as far as trying to get service, that they could probably use a little bit more if you're trying to get the drink that's right there, because the people that are sitting at the bar, you've got that. And I really didn't see anybody. I wasn't asked by anybody if I needed a drink on the bit of time that I was actually just, sitting and taking it easy. That I didn't have that. So I'm guessing that to get a drink, you really just want to be proactive to get up to the bar and get it, which may be a little less conducive to that big party vibe. So it's relaxing, but it wasn't like this giant party going on. It wasn't that kind of a vibe, but it's definitely something that you're going to be able to, to relax at. And like you can see here, most of those seats are pretty full, and it could be a challenge if you're wanting to drink. And the other thing to keep in mind with that is that, if you're in the water, this isn't the ship, so to speak. So you're going to need to have cash or a card with you. Really, I would probably tell you both, because I prefer to tip in cash with the dollar bills. But, you may want to look into getting one of those lanyards that's waterproof, that can hold your money or a large phone. And those work pretty good. I mean, I've tested them, no water issues. Even when I thought it was getting older, I tested it and it kept the bills dry. So that might be an opportunity for you to be able to have the things that you'll want when you go here. I could definitely see having your own cup here being a benefit, just from like having a lid on it. And this is a hot area. There's not that many trees unless you're just in that right spot, and so you're probably gonna want to make sure that you're covered, so your drinks aren't getting melty. Because again, these aren't through the ship, and it's going to cost a little bit more. You're at basically a resort. I mean, it's a port, but it's a resort. So plan ahead as far as your cash goes, and again, having a card. I haven't heard any issues as far as cards and things that can happen there. I have had that happen to me in Mexico, so I'm a little bit leery about using cards in certain areas, and that was in port. So I would tell you to, obviously watch that. The card themselves, they're supposed to have this protection. They send you a paper, and it's in, the native country, and I don't speak or write Spanish, and it was just a giant headache. And they ended up denying our claim, which was absolutely fraudulent, and cost us a couple $100 there from someone that was taking advantage of us. That's what I'm talking about. You see those sticks and all that. That's covering the lazy river, and you're going under all that. And there's spots where there's some water that's trickling up there, so you get a little bit of that. Again, as you can see, plenty of seats. The spot there, well, that's kind of like your Flow Rider kind of a thing that Royal Caribbean has. Again, that's not the brand. It's not owned by Royal, but it's obviously the same concept. And basically it looks like it's the same thing with a different name. Some of the things that you might be interested in for Puerto Plata is to know that the city is a major trading port. Puerto Plata has resorts such as Playa Dorado and Costa Dorado, which are located to the east of the city. There are 100,000 hotel beds in the city. The first aerial tramway of the Caribbean is located in Puerto Plata, in which visitors can ride up to the Pico Isabel de Torres, I guess that is. It's a 735 meter, 2,600 feet high mountain within the city. The city's history dates back to the early 16th century when Spanish colonists founded a small colonial settlement in the region. During the first decades of the existence of the Captaincy General of Santo Domingo, the settlement was considered the main commercial and maritime port of the island. In 1605, it was depopulated and destroyed by order of Philip III of Spain to counter raids by English privateers and pirates. 100 years later, the city was repopulated with farmers from the Canary Islands. From 1822 to 1844, the city was under Haitian control. From 1844 began a period of the Republic in which the city began to recover its maritime and commercial boom. Beginning in 1865, the current Puerto Plata began to be built. This explains the Victorian style of much of the current architecture. By the end of the 19th century, Puerto Plata had become important as a cultural, social, and maritime plus economic development. You know, it's always fun to kind of learn about some of these places that I visited, and often, and certainly I did here, is Puerto Plata. I really just used Wikipedia, and I was able to find out so much about it. And there's so much more to know, and that's kind of what's interesting is when I visit a place, it's a little bit different because, you know, sometimes I'm there and I'm just about relaxing, and sometimes I'm there and I really want to learn all the cultural stuff, and sometimes you're there, you're just trying to take in all of the beauty or, you know, just the rich history. There's just so much at each place that I go to that I learn from, and this was certainly no exception. And I was really thinking that when I did this, it was not going to be necessarily about being in port. If anything, I was looking forward to a beach, but I was just so impressed with the port that I just felt like this is the information that people want. Yes, I would love to do some of those other things, but if you're going to come here once, and sometimes you're just looking for an inexpensive way to do it, this is it. You really don't get any better. It's flat. It's easy to get around in. You know, you're not. It's new. You're not worried about being, you know, in a dirty area. You're not worried about being in an unsafe area. Again, as far as getting around, super easy. There's very little areas that if you had mobility issues that I would see that would be something that would be of a detriment to you. So again, as you can see, it's beautiful. The area is beautiful, and I was just so impressed, really, with everything Dominican Republic. So I'm gonna have to think long and hard because I've got a few more weeks, but I'm going to be back here, and part of me just wants to enjoy this port, and part of me wants to maybe go out there and see if I can find a really cool beach to give you guys and give you a tour and let you know how that went. So you're going to have to stay tuned a little later episode to find out what I end up doing there, because I'm just not sure yet. There's a lot here. I would tell you that if you're going to go here, I don't know. I guess I do worry a little bit about the instability of the area and all that it's gone through. So I don't know. I'd almost want to do something that was either through the ship or a reputable company like Viator, and this isn't sponsored by them. I'm just throwing it out there because I do use them genuinely. I use Viator frequently because I know that they've gotten there and they've vetted some of these different vendors. And so that way I'm not necessarily just walking out to someone with a sign and they go, hey, you know, you want to do this? And then you jump in the taxi and, you know, I never heard from again or something. You know, you want to make sure that you're being safe. And when I use places like Viator, I'm usually feeling about the same safety as I do when I'm getting something off the ship. The one caveat there is that when you go through the ship, well, you're going to pay more, but you also have that security of if there's an issue with your excursion not getting back on time, that you're going to be able to still get back on the ship. So when you're doing something on a third-party site, you need to be the one to make sure that when you're planning to meet is when the ship's going to be able to get there, and how flexible are they if something comes up, and if the ship's not able to dock, what's their refund policies? All the little things that go into that. Those are things that you'll have to take responsibility for if you're using a third-party site, is to just make sure that you've got yourself to where you can do the cruise or do the excursion, but you also want to make sure that you can get your butt back in plenty of time. I wouldn't cut it close. I would tell you plan to be back 2 hours early, hour and a half at the most. That way, if something comes up, you have a buffer. To where whether you lost track of time, there's a buffer there. If wherever you took, the bus, the taxi, whatever, they blow a tire, that's probably not something that's as easily fixed as calling a tow truck. And even where I'm at, it can take a while for a tow truck to get to you and fix it and get you back on your way. So if you can imagine this and you're on an excursion and something happens, a tow truck may take an hour to get to you. And I've been in some cases where it's taken longer and certainly some shorter. Plan ahead, make sure you're safe, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.